My Lord and my God, I firmly believe that you are here, that you see me, that you hear me. I adore you with profound reverence. I ask your pardon for my sins, the grace to make this time of prayer fruitful. My Immaculate Mother, Saint Joseph, my Father and Lord, my guardian angel, intercede for me. The Church celebrated the 15th Ordinary General Assembly of the Synod of Bishops in Rome from October the 3rd to 28th in 2018, which had as its theme Young People, Faith, and Vocational Discernment. The last day of the Synod, on October the 28th, Pope Francis celebrated the Holy Mass in St. Peter's Basilica, and during his homily he highlighted three fundamental steps on the journey of faith: to listen, to be a neighbor, to bear witness. Referring to the last aspect, that of bearing witness, the Pope commented on the Gospel passage of a blind man, Bartimaeus, who was crying out for help, and reminded the bishops and young people that in today's world, so many children, so many young people like Bartimaeus are looking for light in their lives. They're looking for true love, and like Bartimaeus, who in the midst of that large crowd called out to Jesus alone, they too seek life, but only find empty promises and few people who really care. Lord, I think about this exhortation of the Pope today at this very moment of my loving conversation with you during these 10 minutes. That you're calling us, all of us, especially the young, to bear witness to you in all circumstances of my ordinary life. You tell us emphatically in today's Gospel, I tell you, if anyone openly declares himself for me in the presence of human beings, the Son of Man will declare himself for him in the presence of God's angels. First of all, Jesus, you demand that we, your followers, should bear witness to you as true God and true man, that you are the Son of God, who came to this world as a Redeemer, that you have died and risen from the dead and opened the gates of heaven, that you will come to judge the living and the dead. Help me to put my faith into action. Otherwise, my faith will be useless, empty, like a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal, as St. Paul says. And how do I bear witness to you, Jesus? One of the many young people who were featured as models of witnesses of Jesus during the Synod was Joe Reali. In many ways, Joe was just like any other 26-year-old living in New York. As an article in Columbia magazine describes, he was also a regular guy who enjoyed hosting parties, going dancing with his friends, or blasting music while canning tomatoes with the family. He had a playful side, with a fondness for pranks and fireworks. He loved football, was popular with the girls. Yet, Joe wasn't average and spent his short life on earth serving God and his neighbor. He prayed the rosary, attended daily Holy Mass, and frequently brought other people to church. His evangelical joy attracted many people, which is why 3,000 people attended his funeral when he died from a heart condition in the year 2015. Joe once wrote about his upbringing, saying, if anyone had doubts about Catholicism, whom I met in my life, these events that took place in my childhood made me feel obliged to stand up for it, because I have no doubt in my mind that God and Jesus Christ do exist and are really present in the Mass. Yes, Jesus, that is exactly how you want me to bear witness to you in my daily, ordinary circumstances, while being engaged in many tasks and responsibilities. As Joe said, I too feel obliged to stand up for my faith, because Joe lived his life faithfully as your follower and disciple. He brought many other people to you, because he radiated what St. Paul called sweet fragrance of Christ, and so he was able to have a lasting influence among those who are being saved and among those who are perishing. At the same time, Jesus, you're asking us that we should declare you openly in the presence of human beings. Well, Jesus, what do you mean by declaring you openly? Do you want me to carry a visible symbol such as large crucifix on the outside, or quote some Bible verses regularly at my workplace, or play Christian songs all the time? Surely, Lord, you don't mean that, do you? So then, what do you mean by declaring you openly? I think that perhaps the answer can be found from the examples of the first Christians. In that famous epistle of Mathetes, a Christian, to his friend Leonetus, a non-believer, he described the behavior of the Christians as follows. Christians are not distinguished from other men by country, language, nor by the customs which they observe. They do not inhabit cities of their own, use a particular way of speaking, nor lead a life marked out by any curiosity. So externally, the Christians were not different at all from their fellow citizens. However, there was something quite outstanding in terms of their lifestyle. The epistle continues. They exist in flesh, but they do not live by the flesh. They pass their days on earth, but they are citizens of heaven. They obey the prescribed laws, all the while surpassing the laws by their lives. Yes, there was something substantially different in the way the Christians lived their vocation in the middle of a very paganized environment. The epistle goes on. They are dishonored, yet in their very dishonor they are glorified. They are spoken ill of, and yet are justified. They are reviled, but bless. They are insulted, and repay the insult with honor. They do good, yet are punished as evildoers. When punished, they rejoice as if raised from the dead. They are assailed by the Jews as barbarians. They are persecuted by the Greeks, yet those who hate them are unable to give any reason for their hatred. Now, Lord, that is what I think you mean by declaring you openly through our virtuous Christian living. Yes, Jesus, the virtues are what you called light of the world and salt of the earth that you asked us to be in the world. Our virtues reflect your own holiness in our daily conduct. Help me to practice virtues without fear, human respect, and shyness in my daily circumstances. Through the constant practice of virtues, I bear witness to you openly. In this way, I'm assured of your promise that you will bear witness for me in the presence of God's angels. Wow! What a great thing that is. You, Jesus, acknowledging me, speaking well of me, the presence of the heavenly courts. Another young witness profiled during the Synod of the Youth in 2018 was Montse Gracias. She was declared a venerable by Pope Francis on April the 26th, 2016. What kind of virtues did Montse practice? In what way did she bear witness to Christ openly? Montse was a typical girl who liked sports, music, the popular dances of her part of the country, including the sardanas. She also enjoyed acting in plays. She had a lively, spontaneous temperament, and her reactions were sometimes brusque, although her family and teachers say that she made an effort to control her temper and to be amiable and cheerful with everyone. She had many friends, perhaps because of her open and generous way of being. When she was 16 years old, all of a sudden, she began to suffer pain in her left leg. Weeks went by, and the pain did not lessen. Her main worry was not to incur unnecessary expenses for her parents, because she realized the sacrifice they were making in order to make ends meet for a big family. 6 months later, they discovered what was causing the pain, a cancer in her femur, Ewing's sarcoma, and her condition was already quite grave. How did Montse deal with this life-changing circumstance of her life? Well, she reacted peacefully and with a supernatural perspective, as one can gauge by the way she described it to her friend the next day. She said, "I'm happy and calm. I have great peace. I want God what God wants. Remind me if I forget. I want God's will. This will be the second gift of my life, that I make to my Lord." To another friend, she confided, "I'm very afraid of pain and doctors scare me. But If God sends me suffering, like you said, He'll also help me a lot, and so will all of you. Lord, with such calmness, serenity, and peace, she accepted her illness and showed, yes, openly, to all those around her, how much she loved you, Jesus, and how much she was prepared to offer her pain and suffering for the good of the souls. So, Jesus, as I come to the end of my conversation with you, I'm reminded of these words of Pope Francis in his post-synodal apostolic exhortation, Christus vivit, Christ is alive. He said, the importance of witness does not mean that we should be silent about the world. Why should we not speak of Jesus? Why should we not tell others that He gives us strength in life, that we enjoy talking with Him, that we benefit from meditating on His words? Young people, do not let the world draw you only into things that are wrong and superficial. Learn to swim against the tide. Learn how to share Jesus and the faith He has given you. Under the loving and vigilant eyes of my mother, the Queen of the Apostles, I'll try my very best every day, Jesus, to bear witness to you openly. I thank you, my God, for the good resolutions, affections, inspirations that you have communicated to me in this meditation. I ask your help to put them into effect. My Immaculate Mother, Saint Joseph, my Father and Lord, my guardian angel, intercede for me.